Welcome to the Game Plan with Hunter Hughes. I'm Lucas Kinsey, voice of Buffalo football, and we're ready for week 2 of the 2017 college football season. Your West Texas A&M Buffaloes again at home this week. They'll host the number 7 ranked team in the country, Colorado State Pueblo. West Texas A&M started the season 0-1. Last week they took on Azusa Pacific in the season opener, and they fell 24-13. In that game, though, the Buffs were trailing 17-13. Less than 2 minutes left in the game, and an unfortunate fumble by the Buffaloes was scooped up, ran back for a touchdown by Azusa Pacific, and that sealed the victory for the Cougars, who are now ranked number 8 in the new poll. We'll welcome in head coach Hunter Hughes now. And Hunter, thanks for being with us.
Thank you, Lucas.
So you get that first game out of the way as a head coach for WT, and it was a game that was obviously very close, hard-fought loss in last week. And I could tell in visiting with you in post-game that not only you but the coaching staff very disappointed. It was a game that you felt like you could have had. It was a close one. Talk about some positives offensively and defensively for your team.
Well, I thought we did what we wanted to do and establish the run and be physical. And I thought that we had taken control of the game in the trenches from an offensive standpoint, and just didn't finish drives. I think that was the big issue. You can get down there and kick field goals, but if you turn those field goals into 2 touchdowns, it's a completely different ball game. Defensively, I thought we struggled at first, and then we calmed down a little bit when our emotions got in check, and we were able to do some things to stop them. And in the second half, really the only score they got was on our mistake, and we got to fix those communication errors and get them straight. And I think I'm very proud of the way our players played. They never gave up. That's what we've been preaching to them: play for 60 minutes and just keep grinding and keep going. And I heard from them after the game. I thought they did everything that we asked them to do. Just the outcome wasn't what we wanted.
You can't ask for more than being right there. 2 minutes left in the game. Just got to finish.
Absolutely. It's we got to finish those things. And there's some plays that nobody talks about that stand out. Where if we make a tackle on 3rd down, we get our offense the ball back with 5 minutes to go in the game instead of with 2 minutes to go in the game. And those are the plays that they see the fumble at the end, and they see those types of things, but they don't see what could get you the ball back in better position and with time wise and better field position as well. So those are things we got to fix, and those are things we brought up and to the team, and hopefully we'll get it fixed this week.
Most of Buff Nation knows that Coach Hughes comes to Canyon from Colorado State Pueblo, 10 seasons as the defensive coordinator there, including a 2014 national championship. And we'll talk more about Colorado State Pueblo in just a little bit. But Hunter, I wanted to talk to you about your coaching background. Spent a lot of time, obviously, in the state of Tennessee. You were a graduate assistant at the University of Tennessee, a graduate of Middle Tennessee State. Go Blue Raiders.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
When we mention Tennessee, you got to mention that it's also where our head women's basketball coach, Kristen Matteo, comes from. So talk a little bit about, give our viewers a little bit of taste of growing up in SEC country, Tennessee, a state that takes their football serious just like we do here in Texas.
Well, went to high school, grade school and high school in Tennessee, and then started at Middle Tennessee. Wasn't able to play football there. If you look at me, I'm short and white and a little slow, so that's why I didn't play. But I always wanted football, knew I wanted to coach football, and was able to get my teaching degree from Middle Tennessee State, and able to go and coach high school football for 9 years. At the end of that 9 years, and during that term of 9 years, I worked camps at the University of Colorado, and that's where I met the head coach at Pueblo, John Riston. And I was lucky enough to get a graduate assistant job at Colorado first, and was there for 3 years, and then went to the University of Tennessee for 1 year in 2006, and then got the call to Pueblo. And so Tennessee's my home. I'm still own a house there, rent a house there, and so my family's still there. My mom and dad are still there. I got a sister still there, and my
pretty country.
Yeah, it's got the rolling hills of the Appalachians that not really near Nashville, but I love the country music aspect of Nashville. I love downtown Nashville. I love the atmosphere down there, and I'm a Titan season ticket holder, and I'm a Predators fan, and will always be. And as a matter of fact, when the Predators went to the Stanley Cup, I actually went down and flew and went to the first game.
Nice.
And so I enjoyed that, and I enjoyed going back home. I enjoy like I said, the southern hospitality of Tennessee.
Sure. Well, this Saturday, the Buffs, as we turn our attention to the big game, they're going to host, again, as I mentioned, number 7 ranked Colorado State Pueblo, the Thunderwolves. And, Coach, this is a game where if you want emotion, you want some drama, we've got all that as you look at the ties with not only you, but also a couple of your assistant coaches as well. This has got to be a game that both sides have probably circled on the calendar since going back to December when you were hired as head coach here.
Well, I think that, I don't know if it was circled. It's just the next game for me. It will be different being on the sidelines and looking across and seeing Pueblo there and seeing coaches and players that I recruited and guys I worked with for a long time. But it's more about our team, and it's more about fixing the mistakes we made last week and seeing what we can do. I think Pueblo is, I think their number 7 ranking is, they probably should be ranked higher in my opinion. I mean, if you look at they got 5 starting offensive linemen, a tight end who's been there, a returning starter. They've got outstanding running backs, outstanding skilled athletes. The defensive unit they have is probably the best that's been there. Yeah. In fact, in all honesty, since they came back, the way they play and the way they did things, and secondary is very athletic. They're all over. Very good at special teams, very well coached. A very disciplined team, and we got our hands full.
Well, the Thunderwolves had a big win in their Week 1 opener. They beat Colorado School of Mines 38-7. That game was interesting, though, in the second quarter. It was tied 7-7. Mines has the football, about 3 minutes left in the first half, and then disaster strikes. They throw an interception, leads to a Pueblo touchdown. They end up getting a punt blocked before halftime, leads to another touchdown, and then Pueblo puts them away in the second half, winning easily 38-7. As you look at the Thunderwolves, and you've talked about some of their players, obviously, but I want to talk about their quarterback, Brandon Edwards, and they played 2 last week. But Brandon Edwards is new this year, was redshirted last year. You saw him last year as the defensive coordinator because he was on the scout team. He had a hot start last week against Mines, threw a couple touchdowns.
Yeah, I think Brandon was very capable of coming in and starting last year, but as a staff, we wanted to hold him back to give him more time and to develop and to learn the system. And so I had him on the scout team with me, and sometimes he torched us. I mean, he lit us up, and that's what I think helps make teams successful is by having competition and having guys. And that's what I'm trying to build here at West Texas. But I think Brandon's a heck of a competitor. I think very well deserving of the start. And he did play very well last week.
Yeah. And they've got some other weapons as well. You look at this game, it's been a very special non-conference rivalry. The series tied 3-3 between the Buffs and the Thunderwolves, CSU Pueblo. Of course, the Buffs have gotten the best of them the last 2 years, including a thriller a couple seasons ago out at Kimbrough Stadium that was a 1-point win for West Texas A&M. But you look at this Saturday, Coach, you mentioned it, your team, and that's what you're worried about is WT. What do the Buffs have to do in order to beat a very talented team in Colorado State Pueblo?
We have to play mistake-free, and we have to, lack of penalties. Any mistake you make, we have to be gap sound on defense, and if you give any of their running backs a crease, they can hit it and make you pay for it. Same thing with the other quarterback, A.J. Thompson. He can, everybody says that, he can't throw the ball, and that was a knack on him, but he's improved tremendously in that aspect.
He threw 2 touchdowns last week.
And they were right on the money, and so he's gotten better. And so just one more thing that I get to worry about. But we can't turn the ball over, and we have to get some turnovers. I mean, if you look back at the last 2 games between the 2 teams at Pueblo, and when I was there, we turned the ball over a lot, and we didn't get a lot of turnovers, and that's a big difference in how those games turned out.
Sure. Well, Buff Nation, we want to see you, and we want to hear you as well at Kimbrough Stadium this Saturday, 6 p.m. kickoff as West Texas A&M hosts Colorado State University Pueblo, the Thunderwolves. And as we move on, we want to also mention Buff Nation, the tailgating at the range, which is sponsored by United Supermarkets. That starts at 3 o'clock. Buffalo Club members stop by the Buffalo Club tailgate area. All food is provided by Rayburn Reynolds. A big thanks to Steve Rayburn. That's going to wrap up the second week of the game plan here with Hunter Hughes. I want to thank our producers of the show, James Hadnot and also Angelo Pontello. Big thanks to the Sports Information Department with Kit Streef, Brent Sills, and their entire staff. And for head coach Hunter Hughes, I'm Lucas Kinsey saying we'll see you Saturday at Kimbrough Stadium at 6 o'clock. Go Bucks!